but it was, 200 presentations going on, and one of them was like geared towards special ed.
Yeah.
Out of this entire, like, hundreds and hundreds of art educators. And I thought that was strange, but it got even more strange when I realized that the presenter was new to teaching special ed in art and was almost kind of like asking the audience what to do. Like, I'm teaching special ed to these, or I'm teaching art to these special ed kids, and there's no precedent set. I don't know how to do this, and what do you all do? And hands went up in the audience, and this one woman was like, yeah, our district really wants to integrate special ed into the art program, which is like, why is that a novel concept? Like, why is this a new thing? Like,
Yeah.
You all should have been doing this years ago. And so what they did, she had like a group of 30 gen ed kids, and instead of giving her like another block to do art with special ed, they simply injected 8 special ed kids, like severely physically and intellectually disabled kids, into this group of 30. And she's like, I don't know how to do that. Like, and she's teaching not choice-based art, so she's up there and saying, okay guys, today we're working on, grid portraits or something higher level. And she says, I'm talking to my 30 gen ed kids, and then I have to go over to these 8 kids and look them in the eye and say, okay, you all can't do any of that. Like not that you're not allowed to, but like physically, you are not able to do any of that. So now I have to teach a new lesson that's like, elementary level in the same class as a higher level art, group. And it was like the same sentiment throughout the whole room. Everybody was like, yeah, I'm dealing with that too, I'm dealing with that too. And it was just a bizarre thing like this. Everybody is just confused. How do we teach art to special ed kids? I raised my hand, and she said, well, she asked, does anyone teach art to just a group of special ed kids? And I was the only one, and probably in a room of like 50.
Wow.
And she said, well, what's, so you have like 1 or 2 special ed classes a day? And I said, well, actually my entire school is, all special needs kids, varying spectrums and such. And she was like, wait, so your whole school is special needs, and you're a special ed teacher? And I said, well, no, I'm the art teacher. And it like blew her mind. She was like, wait, so you only teach art to kids with special needs? And I said, yes. And she was like, can you write down your email? Yes. I think that inclusion is new, that like least restrictive environment is new. And so the idea that you should move these kids around and not keep them in one classroom is this kind of, it's a law now, but it didn't used to be. It used to be that, you kept all those kids in one room and you had one teacher teaching them all the subjects, and that's where they stayed in their little cluster, and they did not integrate. So with the electives, it kind of makes sense that they were just kind of like, oh yeah, that's fine. And they probably were doing things like coloring pages and maybe like cut and paste with their homeroom teacher in their classroom, so that was art. And that was that. So I don't know, it's a weird thing that like I don't think is weird, but I get into the general population and they're like, yeah, we don't know what to do with these kids. We don't know how to integrate special needs kids into an art program. And I think that the problem with that is that you need to create a curriculum that serves them. And I have a lot of freedom here, and I think that that's more to do with like the administration. They are very open and they are very trusting with me, that they, you know, I just kind of feel like I have the freedom to come up with projects that are not going to be shut down. And I also don't have anyone looking for those perfect lions that I was telling you about, or those, you know, exact rainbows and all of them look the same. I've worked in a lot of schools where the principals are looking for that because, like I said, you can measure that and they all look the same and they look really kind of like uniform and nice when you put them up all on a wall. And I don't do a lot of those projects, and nobody makes me feel bad about that. So it's kind of nice to have that kind of freedom. You know, and of course, what they get out of it is, you know, palpable. Like you can see when a kid comes in and is just like, okay, art. Like, all right, I can like take all this like math and science crap off, and like I can just like today, I'll have kids, and you'll see this. They just like walk right in and they're like, I'm gonna paint today, and like you can tell that like they have been waiting for it all day. Like, I'm painting today. And they don't have to be like, is that okay? Like, I don't really want to work on the pencil drawing that I've been doing. Like, no, like if you have the urge to paint, like go paint. You know, like please go do that. So I feel like more of a facilitator instead of like, you know, I'm going to teach everybody how to draw a human eye today. Like, that's not so much of what I do. What I do is more like, let's figure out what it is that's like pulling at you. So get hands-on experience. Get into the classrooms and figure out what it's all about. I mean, I think that college courses and books are fantastic, but it's not going to do what you need as far as actual experience. You know, I think that sometimes like research and reading about best practice and sitting in a classroom and listening to a teacher is not as valuable as actually just like being a participant in a classroom. So I kind of wish that they did way more like student teaching opportunities. I think it's just, and when I was in school, it was just one semester was student teaching. So for the first half of the semester, I worked with elementary kids, and the second half of the semester I worked with high school kids, and it was just so quick. And I was just like, I've just spent the last, 3.5 years of my life like talking about doing this, and I just wish that it had been the opposite. I wish that I had just been in it. I just think that I would have probably still wouldn't have been able to get a job in Richmond, but like, I just think that experience and actually doing it is so much more valuable.